Rumors were circulating that Hyundai was permanently shelving plans to build the Genesis hydrogen fuel cell EV a few weeks ago. Shares in companies involved with hydrogen-powered automobiles naturally dropped in value immediately. But it seems that Hyundai didn't scrap the whole thing. Instead, it was made clear that the delay was just temporary. So here's the deal. Large automakers like Hyundai and Toyota spend billions on hydrogen fuel cell technologies. On the other side of the debate, big rig drivers like Elon Musk think hydrogen cars are ridiculous and foolish. Herbert Deiss, CEO of Volkswagen, asserts that it is prohibitively expensive, wasteful, sluggish, and finicky to roll up. That begs the question, who is correct? In this video, we are going to take a look at hydrogen fuel technology and how it could change the automobile industry. Okay, so what sets the electric automobile apart from the hydrogen car? For the electric vehicle to be charged, it must be plugged into a charging station. However, hydrogen vehicles do not require recharging. Instead, you refuel up at a hydrogen fueling station. And much like a car driven by gasoline or diesel, this hydrogen is kept in a locked fuel tank. It is then sent to a fuel cell, which reacts with oxygen to provide on-demand onboard power, negating the need for batteries. Next, we'll take a peek inside the fuel cell. Very much like a battery, we discover a fluid with a positive anode and a negative cathode. Then the hydrogen atoms began to disassemble, releasing a proton and an electron, and in response to oxygen, the protons transform into clean water. That's what comes out of the engine. Now, the electric motor in the automobile gets its power from electrons, and that's on top of the many other smaller reactions taking on within the gasoline saw right now. Then, in an instant, you had a hydrogen-powered electric automobile that really worked. You probably didn't know this, but there's also a battery on board. It's a power saver for later use. But even with this battery, the fuel cell usually merely provides electricity directly to the motors during acceleration. I know what you're thinking now. Isn't it risky to drive around with all that hydrogen? And if it goes off, then what? After all, the tragic loss of life in the 1937 Hindenburg airship disaster was traced back to a hydrogen leak. You see, although hydrogen is explosive, it can be converted into gasoline, which is what your automobile uses constantly. Now, gas isn't as combustible as hydrogen, but the hydrogen automobile manufacturers are taking all the necessary precautions. The hydrogen tank in the automobile is pressurized to hold all that pressure, and it shouldn't pose any more risk than driving a regular gas-powered vehicle. As I said earlier, Elon Musk opposes hydrogen fuel technology, and he made several contentious tweets on hydrogen-powered automobiles. He said fuel cells are fool cells, according to a 2020 tweet. He said that using hydrogen for a rocket's upper stage isn't even worth exploring, and that hydrogen fuel cells make no sense. He even said that it would become glaringly apparent over time. It's not the first time people have left the need to speak out strongly against it. So why is it that nobody seems to like the hydrogen-powered car? Musk's primary issue is the viability of hydrogen as a fuel for automobiles, given how difficult it is to produce, store, and consume. And hydrogen's low density and flammability are contributing factors. So, if he had to choose, Elon Musk would choose methane or propane instead of hydrogen. Not only does Musk think this is a bad idea, but so do a lot of other people, along with Volkswagen's CEO Herbert Deiss. However, his opposition to hydrogen cars stems from his concern about global warming, and he thinks hydrogen-powered vehicles are harmful to the planet. One thing is sure though, neither man will invest in hydrogen technology soon. Furthermore, they themselves are making a significant investment in battery-powered vehicles. But it's not just those two guys. You may not be aware, but the argument between hydrogen fuel cells and lithium-ion batteries has really been going on for decades. and Musk undoubtedly supports the lithium camp. It is on this foundation that Tesla has constructed his whole business empire. Hydrogen fuel cells, on the other hand, predate lithium-ion batteries for several decades. In fact, hydrogen fuel cells were crucial to NASA's mission to land man on the moon in 1969, yet few people realize this. However, lithium-ion batteries were considerably simpler to bring to market, especially for consumer goods and vehicles. Now, just because two major automakers' top executives are against hydrogen doesn't mean the fuel cell vehicles run on poo. So, how does the hydrogen automobile stack up against the electric car? Let's start with the refilling process. The battery of an electric automobile must be recharged before it can be driven again. In some instances, it may take hours. And your vehicle doesn't care if you have an important meeting, a breathtaking panorama, or a baseball game to get to. So, if it needs to charge, you will have to wait. In contrast, refueling a hydrogen-powered vehicle at a hydrogen fuel pump takes just a few minutes, the same as with a traditional gas or diesel vehicle. Hydrogen also has the added benefit of being the most prevalent element in the cosmos, and as a result, it is not hard to come by and is unlikely to ever be exhausted. In addition, unlike fossil fuels, hydrogen fuel cells do not release any harmful greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, so the result is cleaner air and reduced pollution. By combining hydrogen with oxygen, these fuel cells generate substantial amounts of usable electricity while only producing harmless water vapor as waste. Because of these factors, governments are beginning to support hydrogen as a crucial component of their strategy for correcting climate change. Now, this is an issue not just in the transportation industry, but for the entire power system. In 2020, President Joe Biden unveiled a $2 trillion clean energy plan that will incorporate advancements in renewable hydrogen technology. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has also pledged £446 million to the cause of reducing global warming pollution, and the creation of hydrogen-powered vehicles is part of this initiative. Also, in recent years, China declared its intention to have over 1 million hydrogen fuel cell vehicles on the road by 2030. I bet you didn't know that NASA uses them too. When using fuel cells to generate water for the space shuttle, the exhaust is so pure that it's safely consumed by astronauts. In contrast to coal, natural gas, and nuclear power, hydrogen is a clean fuel that might be used for more than simply automobiles. As time passes, who knows what else it may be used to power? If you live in a neighborhood where people get upset when you rev your engine, this vehicle may be for you. Cars powered by hydrogen don't make any noise. Hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, like electric vehicles, are substantially quieter than their gasoline and diesel-powered counterparts. So, is it safe to conclude that Elon Musk was mistaken about hydrogen vehicles? Well, not right now. You see, driving a hydrogen-powered vehicle has many more drawbacks than benefits. First, the cost of refueling with hydrogen is high. The price of a full tank of hydrogen is $80, compared to $50 for tank gas. The root of the problem is plain to see. Hydrogen extraction has its own challenges. Hydrogen is, without a doubt, the most common chemical element in the universe. But here's the rub. Most of the hydrogen on Earth is really bound up in water. So hydrogen must be collected from water by employing electricity to split the hydrogen and oxygen molecules. Now, the process is known as electrolysis. Hydrogen may also be extracted from natural gas, which is another viable extraction method. We call this process reformation. Using one of these methods requires a lot of energy and is neither simple nor inexpensive. Second, there's the problem of delivering gas. Pipelines may be used to transport oil, while trucks can be loaded with coal. It's a different matter, though, when you need to transport hydrogen. Hydrogen is exceedingly costly to transport, especially in small quantities. Now, before we continue, I want to thank you for getting this far. And if you want to know more, then make sure to stick till the end. Wondering where all this hydrogen will go? Hydrogen can be kept in a liquid state at cryogenic temperatures, or as a gas under high pressure in storage tanks. Suddenly, there is significant energy loss in each of the two hydrogen storage techniques. Hydrogen compression uses around 30% of the energy present in the hydrogen molecule. Liquid hydrogen, however, loses about 40% of its total energy due to the process of condensation. Hydrogen is not entirely non-polluting. Hydrogen is clean to use in your hydrogen automobile but requires a lot of power from the storage tanks to the fuel pumps. Not only is current production terrible for the environment, but much is done with fossil fuels, and both the carbon emissions and the financial costs of producing these fuel are high. The infrastructure for hydrogen-powered vehicles has another flaw. While charging stations for electric vehicles may not be as ubiquitous as petrol stations, you should have no trouble finding one within a reasonable driving distance. However, hydrogen pumps aren't as common as electric charging stations due to the limited number of hydrogen-powered vehicles on the road. If you happen to be passing through a somewhat sized city in your shiny new hydrogen automobile and need to refuel, you could be waiting long. Still, let's assume you're set on purchasing a hydrogen-powered vehicle. Unfortunately, there aren't many options currently. Both the Toyota Mirai and the Hyundai Nexo are the only two hydrogen-powered automobiles now on sale to the general public in certain areas. However, the Toyota Mirai has its drawbacks, including a price of roughly $50,000. To begin, it has a relatively low power output of 182 horsepower. Additionally, the Mirai's hydrogen fuel cell station infrastructure is largely constrained to the state of California if you're located in the United States. At the moment, if you want a Toyota Mirai, you'd better be a California resident, and the Mirai is available in a small number of countries. Therefore, hydrogen fuel cell vehicles are not yet as ideal and flawless as everyone would like them to be, but they offer a great deal of promise. Now, something to consider is how much farther hydrogen could have gone if more resources had been poured into it. You may not be aware, but a few years back, Toyota announced that it would be willing to sell its 24,000 patents on electric vehicle technology, including its hydrogen technology, without charging any sort of fee. So why would a big automaker want to share its strategies with a rival? The real objective was to hasten the progress of electric vehicle technology and encourage the broad adoption of all electric cars by whatever means necessary. That risky action was strategically brilliant. Now, let's go back in time to 2004. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the state's governor at the time, just unveiled his plans for a groundbreaking new roadway in California. The vision is a clean, cutting-edge roadway powered by hydrogen vehicles that produce no harmful emissions. There was never any progress made on this front, and the development of hydrogen technology has just begun at this point, like the state of electric automobiles around 10 years ago. Now, if hydrogen works or not, only time will tell. So, what do you think of hydrogen technology? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. And while you're at it, make sure to smash the like and subscribe buttons as well. Now, if you want to know more about other alternatives to hydrogen, then make sure to click and watch this video right here and enjoy. And that's the end of this video, guys. See you next time.